The Mobile Workforce Podcast. Industry insights, construction perspective.
Hi, I'm Mike Merrill, the host of the Mobile Workforce Podcast. Today we have a great conversation with Mr. Mike Ode, the president of Foundation Software. Mike and I have a great conversation about culture, about technology within the industry, the importance of partnering with vendors and solutions that actually fit your need or discipline within the industry, and then also just generally their approach to the marketplace, how they look to serve customers, and the things that they weigh out that are most important to them. You will love getting to know him from this behind-the-scenes conversation and look, and I think you'll really enjoy this one, so please give it a listen.
Well, welcome on the podcast today, Mr. Ode. Appreciate having you.
Glad to be here.
I can see it. Good. Awesome. I think one of the things that we wanted to talk about today is, over the last decade or so, there's been a big shift in tools on the job site that help companies be more efficient. The conversation used to be more around hardware and equipment, and I think now it's a lot more geared towards software and technology. What have you seen with that change, and what do you think is most important today?
Yeah, well, I think the hardware is kind of taking a backseat because hardware is now a cell phone, right? And everybody has one, and it's just accepted, right? So there's not as much of an emphasis and focus. And I'd say from a software standpoint, where it's most beneficial and where it's really changed is it's allowed the gap between the field and office to close, right? And if you ask any contractor, I'd say that gap, communication gap between the field and office is one of their top 5 challenges, everybody, if not the number 1 challenge. And I think what's happened now is out in the field, we have this ability to share data with the office almost instantaneously. And that's what people are looking for. They want that data, they want it instantly, and they don't want to spend their days calling and trying to figure out what was scribbled on a sheet of paper or what was underneath the coffee stain. And software has allowed us to do that and enabled us to do that.
Yeah, I love that. So that begs the question, how important is the quality of that data that they're getting, right? I mean, that's what everybody's after.
Yeah, again, it's garbage in, garbage out, right? So it's no different. So I think what the software has enabled us to do is it's made the data better, right? Some of it makes it so that you can't really make a mistake. You're in an area, you try to put in a wrong job, for example, it won't let you do it. You put in a cost code you're not allowed to work on, it won't let you do it, right? So I think software is not just bridge that gap, but it's also helped us become more efficient and collect better data. And as we all know, the numbers run the business. The people execute it. There's no doubt about it. The people are the ones that execute it. The people are the reason that businesses are successful. But the numbers tell you what to do. And if that quality is correct and accurate, you're going to have a successful construction business.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So correct and accurate is definitely the key. But then also, what do you think about the timeliness of the data?
Yeah, it's almost instant now, right? The quicker you can get data, the quicker you can make decisions. Nobody likes to know that they need to adjust labor or they're going to have a change order that they missed after the fact. So the quicker you get that data, the quicker you make decisions. And when you can adjust on the fly, it can be the difference between making money or losing money on a job, period. I mean, it's that simple. So yeah, the timeliness is everything. Accuracy and timeliness leads to productivity.
I love that. That's a great soundbite. Also, I think the excuses that we used to have are kind of gone now. We really don't have any good reasons for not having good data, accurate data, timely data. And so then it makes me wonder, how important is it that companies are utilizing software built for their industry now? Because, great data is awesome, but how it's formatted, what can you do with that are specific to your trade or your business discipline becomes more important.
Yeah, I think verticals are taking over, right? In all industries. When I'd say 2 of the bigger ones are healthcare and construction. And construction is extremely complex. And if you look at the most complicated, I shouldn't say that, but probably the most complicated one, just go to payroll, right? You're not saying that Bob or Julie worked 40 hours. right? They could work on 8 different jobs in 2 different states on 5 different cost codes, making 6 different pay rates. And if you don't have a construction specific package, that's just not going to be handled. Not to mention all the different forms of billings that you have and going down the line. But from a payroll standpoint, specifically, it is it's necessary in order to grow. It really is. And there's no need at this point in time to make something that's not industry specific work because they're out there, right? So you don't need to do that. There's no reason for it. So yeah, I'd say it is one of the things that companies need to make sure of is that they stay in their lane of construction.
So now that we have specific software built for your industry, it's got the things that you need, the tools you need that are formatted appropriately. How important does the relationship between the technology vendor and the customer become, and what have you seen help Foundation be successful in that relationship?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. We're sitting here at a user conference, right? We're going to have 1,000 customers here in about 5 hours, and the relationship is everything. It's critical because everybody thinks, hey, we'll just stick to the example of the user conference. You have this user conference, and your clients are going to come here and they're going to get educated and they're going to learn more about the products they have. Well, I look at it a little different. We're going to get educated. We're going to find out what do we do well, and then more importantly, we're going to find out what don't we do well. What would people like to see us get better at, right? So that relationship has to go both ways. We can provide value. You'll hear me talk about this in my opening remarks tomorrow, so it'll be a little repetitive for you. But we want to make sure that we are providing more value for our customers, and that can be through products and services, whether that's organically or whether it's through M&A. And then, the client experience has to be great, right? Through all the way from sales to implementation to client success to client sales. It just needs to be great, and you need to listen to one another. Technology's tough, man. Things go right and things go wrong with technology, right? I mean, it's a tricky one, and everybody has to work together.
Track every dollar for each project with Foundation, America's #1 construction accounting software. Follow the progress of your jobs and track expenses with construction billings, WIP reporting, construction payroll features, and accurate job cost reports. Build profits with precision. Get Foundation today.
That's why everybody isn't successful at doing it, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Weeds it out.
It does.
Well, and I mean, this is, we didn't rehearse this. We're just having a conversation. Sure. But this is my first user conference being a part of the Foundation software family of companies, right? I've been on the other side, and I was telling, we were, on the plane, I was talking to my wife about this, and I said, this is different. She's used to me being in sales and trying to, get new leads and work with the partner and trying to engage and network and do all these different things. And I told her, that I'm kind of excited to be on the other side of this, where now I really just get to help. And Foundation as a partner has always been a wonderful partner to us as a third party. And now I'm really excited to be a part of the family. But I think, I love hearing you say that it's a two-way street, because that, I think, that's pretty rare in this industry today. I hear a lot from the other side of the table, vendors out there that are really trying to control the conversation and control the situation. It's not necessarily a two-way street. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, and I think it's important to understand that clients want more, right? They want to be able to go, let's go to the extreme, the perfect world. They want to be able to go for their back office to one company and get everything. And we're not 100% there, but we're getting there, right? We are filling these gaps. We are not just an accounting package, right? We now have WorkMax, which is the most technologically advanced, data collection in the industry. We have estimating software. We have an HR module now, right? So we have to keep providing more value and more value and more value for our customers. It is an absolute must, because they want it, right? And they want these softwares to talk to each other.
Yeah, and now that they're doing that, I think, again, that two-way street, I think that's a really key conversation point, because you looking for feedback and to learn at your own conference. That's a new conversation I haven't heard being had out in the industry.
The biggest one was 18 months ago. The #1 thing people asked for was an HR module. And we are now 65 clients in. It's new. It's only been out for a quarter, but we're using this user conference as the launch, and then full go May 1st with marketing efforts. And, so you're going to have clients saying, all right, they delivered, right? And that's good, because a lot of the times you have these two-way conversations, you need to come through. And we all know that development of software it takes time, and it takes effort, and it takes energy. But if you can deliver within a reasonable time frame, right? Development, whenever somebody tells me something, I always double it. But if you can do it in a reasonable amount of time, that relationship gets stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger, because you're providing them with what they ask for, and then you deliver on it.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. And the other thing too, and I, again, from the other side of the table, the conversation was always, well, it's buy, build, or partner. We got to buy somebody that has it. We got to build it ourselves, or we've got to have a partner that comes in and fills that gap for us. And I know this year, record number of third-party vendors here. I don't know what the exact count is.
A little over 30 it ended up being, Okay. Yeah, it's going to be big. It's going to be nice.
Wow. Yeah, how exciting. I mean, integration partners that are actually working together and collaborating, which...
And all three of those are important, right? If you can do it organically and we can build it ourselves, great. If that's the quickest way and the most efficient way to market. If we could buy a company such as About Time, home run, right? I think it's exceeded everybody's expectations. And then, those are the two main ones, but then there are things that you're just never going to get into that you have to have a good partner with, right? All three of those are critical.
Yeah, I love that you said that also. There are things that you really shouldn't be getting into. A lot of companies out there, especially in our space, the construction, accounting, ERP systems, feel like they're gonna do it all. They want to do it all, and they sometimes even promise customers, hey, we're going to get to this, we're going to get to that, and year after year you find they're just kicking the can, and they never really deliver it. So what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I think know what you know, and more importantly, know what you don't know, right? And stay in your lane. And, payments is that perfect example of very complex underneath, behind the guardrails. And understanding you don't have that expertise, sometimes partnership is the way to go, right? We acquire what we can and run efficiently with great cultures and matches like ours. You grow what you can grow, and then sometimes you just need to go the partner route because you just don't have the expertise in that field, and you're going to be chasing your tail, which we don't want to do. Get that value to the customer and get it to market as quickly and efficiently as possible. And you have three potential avenues for that.
Yeah, so another thing I've noticed, I think you love what you do. I mean, I feel it. I see it. I see you're very diligent. You're head down focused on whatever you're trying to execute. But I think you're having a good time doing it. If that's the case, why? And what can you share about that?
Yeah, I love getting up for work every day. I still do. Going all the way back, you have to remember I'm probably employee number 11. We're not even doing $1 million. Watching that grow to, over $170 million this year. I mean, over 500 employees. I love the people aspect of it. I love that. I don't want to say you're responsible for these people, but you feel a sense of accomplishment and pride and satisfaction when you give somebody the opportunity to be part of a family, and they come in and they contribute and don't even realize how much they're giving back to you. It's just so satisfying. So yeah, I love it. I probably love it more now than I ever did.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, it is. And I'm not going to sit here and say there's no stress and it's not hard and there's not challenges, because that would just be foolish to say. But I enjoy it all. I don't know what I would do if I didn't do it. Go crazy.
Yeah, it's cool because, and I always notice this again from the outside looking in. A lot of your key people, they don't leave. I mean, they stay. Yeah. And your sales team, I mean, a lot of those guys are over 2 decades, and they're still selling foundation software or some of the
40s.
Right.
In their 40s.
They were young and just out of college, and they're still here. They've made a career out of it. Yeah. That is so I know you know that, but I don't know, because you're in the middle of it, you're driving the bus. It's pretty exceptional and pretty notable, and
I'd say that when 2020 hit, it threw a challenge into that, right? I mean, the culture was so strong, and the company was run on its culture, and then everybody goes away for a while, and then bringing it back, the first thing is, okay, how do we get that culture back? And it's 90% back, right? But it's 2024, right? So it's taken time, and yeah, it's great. The tenured people there are phenomenal, and now you have to mix it with bringing in the new because you're growing so fast, right? And I'd say it's one of the things that we've done exceptional at. We are so accepting of everybody, right? And that's who we are, and we don't plaster values all over the wall. We live it, right? We don't say it, we live it, right? And I think that's what separates us a little bit.
Yeah, you're definitely walking the walk. I know, again, as I look at, internally now to the teams and getting a chance to be a part of this journey that Foundation's on, I got to tell you, our people love their jobs. They're excited. This was a beautiful acquisition opportunity for us to upgrade what we were doing and kind of put it on a bigger platform, which that's why I helped start that business.
Sure. I mean, we've known each other, 20 years now. I mean, so we've known each other for a while. We've been familiar with the company, but once we went out there and met everybody and we're like, oh yeah, this culture just fits with us, right? And the willingness for everybody to go from, a 30-person company to this, exponentially larger company is really bode well for all of us. Yeah, it's been great. It's been a great one. There's no doubt about it. I'd love to do a few more of those.
Well, we appreciate it, and we're excited to be a part of it. And again, kudos to this conference. I'm just I see the customer list. I see who's coming. I'm so excited. We got a bunch of WorkMax customers here too, and
just got to keep them off of Broadway, and we'll be good. Yeah.
That's true. I will. I'll be sober as a judge down there, policing things and making sure. But
I need a security guard out there. Yeah, a lot to do.
All right. So you mentioned this two-way street, and I love that analogy. How important is it from the customer side that they are coming back towards Foundation and plugging in and engaging in the goodness that you're providing?
Yeah, it's both ways, right? We want them to be involved. We want them to be here. But again, is some people might call it painful. I don't. I call it educational. It's great to hear what we're doing well, but I'm more interested in what they think we can do better. You have to remember, we share common challenges right now, right? Number one being hiring. And they're probably in more of a pain point than we are. But you go back pre-2020, you needed 10 people, you had 100 to pick from. Now you need 10 people, and hopefully you have 10 to pick from. And I think the trades are even worse, right? So I think we share that commonality, and I think it's something that helps us become relatable, because software and construction are not necessarily two things that you would think are relatable. But I look at us as a very hardworking Midwest blue-collar software company, and we relate to our clients, and our clients relate to us. And when they're here, they see that. The next time they call, that conversation is so much easier. They are so much more willing to have a conversation than just tell you what's wrong. And hey, here's what I experienced. How can you help us with that? And how can we become better as time goes by? So I think anytime you meet somebody face to face, every following conversation is that much better. And I think that's what happens at these user conferences, is that you get to meet people face to face, and, you have that 2 or 3 minute conversation about something other than work first, and how's it going? How the kids are doing? How was your vacation? Or whatever it was that you talked about at that conference. That bond goes a long, long, long way. And with all the user foundation colleges that we have and user conferences that we have a lot of opportunity to meet a lot of clients throughout the year. So I think that's what we want to stay focused on, is building that tight relationship, right? Everybody thinks you can do everything by Zoom, and no. Let's shake hands and let's rub elbows, and that's how you form it.
Yeah, I see on the company calendars, and I know of these events going on, and I see the email notifications, and you're doing a Foundation University down in Orlando and in different parts of the country throughout the year. This isn't just hey, every year and a half, we're going to get together and have a big celebration, right? I mean, there's a lot more to it.
That is correct. Yeah. Arizona's actually been one of our big hotspots. We have a big foundation college. Yeah. every year we have a large conference there. Orlando's always been great for us. But now we move around. We go to Texas. We do obviously some in Cleveland. We do some in Florida now with the Edge. We'll be doing some in Utah now with WorkMax as well. Getting the rooms all set up. So it's all over the place. And now you start to see that these clients aren't just a client of one product. They're a client of 3 products and 4 products and 5 products. And that's what we want, right? And it's what they want too. It brings value to everybody. Everybody wins in that situation.
Yes.
As long as you go back to what we talked about earlier, which is know what you do well, know when you need to partner, know when you need to acquire to bring in that knowledge.
Get complete project visibility with WorkMax Insight. WorkMax Insight uses predictive metrics to measure trends in your project so you can know exactly where your project stands, how it is advancing, and what needs to be completed to stay on schedule. Get real-time project updates with WorkMax Insight today.
Yeah, and again, back to what you said, you really are going out to where the people are. You're making it easy on them. You've got tools and resources that you're heavily investing in to make sure that they had the best of education, they had the best support. I know we just did another podcast here with Ide Bailey, top CPA firm, really, really big in the construction industry. And you have Chris Masteller, full-time CPA liaison. That doesn't exist in our industry. I don't know anybody else like Chris. And I don't know any other companies are doing what you're doing with that. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, and they can try to replicate it, but they got about 25 years to go, right? It doesn't just happen.
Yeah.
These are relationships that have been built since 1990 organically.
Yeah.
And it takes time and it takes effort. And again, it's a win-win, right? We bring value to their clients so they don't have to do some of the work that our software can do for them. And they bring their clients to us, right? And then the clients get a great software product. So it's a win for everybody, and that's what we're trying to create. And it takes a lot. You need to nurture these relationships nonstop. And again, it's decades worth of work. And I think what the difference is most people don't want to do something that it's not going to bring any return for 8, 10, 12 years, right? Well, luckily we're past that. We don't have to think about that particular aspect of it anymore, but that's what it takes. Yeah. It takes a lot of time, effort, energy, traveling around, shaking a lot of hands.
Yeah, so if you're a CPA firm, the other nice thing that I heard come up in a conversation earlier today was a lot of times they have 4, 5, or 10 clients that are having the same challenge.
Sure.
Where if you didn't have this road already built, this pathway to help communicate and get their solutions solved, or their challenges solved, with proper solutions, these CPA firms can call and talk with Chris and get with the right people on the foundation team to get the answer that they need for 10 clients.
Sure.
Instead of having 10 clients call into foundation support and go to the queue and go through that normal process, right?
And they help too, right? When a client runs into something, and every client runs into something, let's be realistic. Everybody's going to run into something. Bringing up new software is time consuming. It's challenging. You're going to run into hurdles.
It's expensive.
It's expensive. And the CPAs are great because they're like, oh, I do have 10 other clients and this is how they do it. Maybe you should do it this way. It fits in with the software. Maybe it's a little more efficient. And that relationship just, it's 3 now, right? It's not just 2.
Well, now they're better, and they're being a trusted advisor that's serving their customer better, and that's a win-win-win.
That is
right?
correct. That is correct, and that's what we're looking for. And there'll be a lot of them here this week as well, and it's great.
Yeah, Foundation Software truly is a technology partner of the customers, of their partners, of the industry, and it's just it's been awesome to see what you've built and are building. And the train is still rolling, and it seems like it's rocket ship still from here, right?
You want to kill a company, become complacent, right? I mean, just complacency is the worst thing we can do. So we will not do that. We do things well, but there's a lot of things that we can improve on, and that's what we want to do, right? Just keep getting better, and don't think you are the best in everything. And if you listen and you make the adjustments that you can make, hey, that's all we can ask, right? You're never going to hit it. You're never going to hit perfection. You strive for it. You don't hit it.
Yeah, and another thing I know, and I remember when this came out, we've had many customers on payroll for construction, P4C for many years. tell us why you guys chose to build that and how it's been received and really what value companies are getting from that.
Yeah, I'd say it's 2, and hopefully it will be 3 as we head into 2024, right? So it does 2 things. One is it allowed us to bring in new clients that didn't use Foundation, right? So it allowed us to do that. Some of them, it was an entry point, and they were ready for something like Foundation or WorkMax. For some, they were just starting out, and it was a great way to get introduced to software, right? And then for our clients, while the software can obviously do what payroll for construction does, it is so nice to have somebody take care of your taxes and keep up with the tax laws and pay your employees and handle the direct deposits. So those were the two reasons that we started it. What we really want to start to focus on now is how can we transform the offices? And how we can transform the offices is by we have 7 different entry points into the market right now, right? I'm not going to go through all 7 of them, but we have 7 different ones. Which ones can we bundle, we'll call it a bundle, together and go into an office and say, look, I can transform your office. And the one that stands out right now and that we're really putting a focus on for 2024 and trying to get the playbook and the cadence and all that down so that customers understand it easily is you have HR. Hey, you're hiring new employees, we can onboard them, right? And everything else that comes with HR. Oh, now you need to get that information from the field to the office. You have WorkMax. Oh yeah, by the way, your payroll's done now. There's nothing for you to do. Now that transforms. So now instead of spending 4, 5, 6 hours a day calling people and saying, what job were you on? Did you get your paperwork back to me yet so I can actually pay you? It's all done through software, and we've gone in and we've transformed the offices, and we've made the people inside the office's job efficient instead of chasing things and chasing data, right? It's that data that we talked about. It's not clean. So when you have HR, you have WorkMax, and you have payroll for construction, that is something that we believe will be able to transform offices. And if you can walk into a construction office and say, I can transform your office, I can make you more efficient, I can make your life easier, people are going to listen. So that's what we're hoping to really accomplish here in 2024.
Yeah, and contractors are used to, whether they're a subcontractor themselves in specialty trade, they're a GC, they have partners, JV partners that they're going into big projects on. I mean, we're used to in construction partnering and working with other entities. We're used to hiring out and outsourcing things that we're not good at. So as contractors, that's one challenge, is sometimes we have a hard time letting go of that control in our mind. And I think letting Foundation Software and the family of companies and products be a part of that subcontractor team that you're hiring in, best of breed solutions to come in and knock it out of the park, where maybe you're good at building stuff, keep building stuff, build more stuff, bring Foundation and their products in to help solve those other
and that's
challenges.
the goal as we head into 24, is to continue to create those efficiencies, right? There's certain products in the family that just go to better together, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the one that we're really focused on for 2024. It'd be pretty cool.
Awesome. Well, the industry needs it. We've heard the same thing for many, many years. That HR challenge is just it's a big one right now. A lot of legislation, a lot of compliance stuff, other challenges that are new and different than what we've had to deal with in the past. Correct. So, bring in a professional and a product that can come and solve that for you, take that headache off.
And then you throw safety on, which we didn't even talk about, right? Yeah. You have the safety that you can throw on in the mix as well, and you have 4 products that all seamlessly integrate and talk to each other. And
so tell us about safety. Why that?
Yeah, so it was something that our clients needed. We found a great product, small company that we're like, hey, we can acquire this and we can hit the ground running, and that's what we did, right? We bought them. They probably had 60 clients. I think first year we sold 180. Next year we sold 200. And this year we'll be on that pace, right? So again, it just brings value to our customers. That's it, right? Yeah. And you don't need safety until you need it, right? You don't need it until somebody comes knocking on your door and says, hey, where's your compliance? Where's your toolbox talks? Are you doing this? Are you sending this information? Do you have a record of it? Well, you know what? I never looked at it, but yeah, I do, by the way. And, right? And then you get to save on some insurance costs and things like that as well. So another great product for us.
Beautiful. Well, we appreciate being a part of this and appreciate what you do for the industry, looking out for the needs of contractors. Just excited to see what comes up in the future and and where you take
Yeah.
this rocket ship, right?
Yeah, me too. I'm interested as well.
All right. Well, thanks again for joining us. Appreciate
Absolutely. Sounds good. Thanks.
Thank you for joining us for the Mobile Workforce Podcast by Foundation Software. To hear more episodes, visit us at workmax.com/Mobile Workforce Podcast or subscribe to the Mobile Workforce Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast platform. And if you like the show, be sure to leave a 5-star review, share with your colleagues, and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Mobile Workforce Podcast.